I'm at the back corner of the bike barn, and that's a place you really don't want to be if you're a bike, because it means you don't get ridden all that often, like this Mongoose Envoy, though I will be getting the Envoy out soon because I want to test out just how well it does handle all the weight it's supposed to. We'll see if that destabilizes the bike or not. And also, you'll see behind it, stuffed way back there and even covered up, is the Electric XP, and I haven't ridden this in probably 6 months. Got kind of turned off when they sent that new computer and it was kilometers per hour. But the new e-bike that I've been riding is kilometers per hour, and it's kind of made me not care. It doesn't bother me as much. So I will be getting the XP out soon, putting a new front gear on it, seeing what I can do with it. But I'm back here looking for this, because this is the focus of today's video. Are you confused yet? Wondering what a Craftsman toolbox, more Kev review style, has to do with KevCentral? Well, it's pretty simple. I have some specialty tools, and I've been losing them. I have a lot of tools, basic tools and bike tools. Well, not a lot of bike tools, but quite a few specialty tools. But it seems like if I'm in the bike barn, they're in the basement. If I'm in the basement, they're upstairs, and vice versa. So I'm going to try to put them all in this toolbox. And I got this toolbox not from Lowe's, where you would think now with Craftsman. This was actually an actual Sears Craftsman. Picked it up at the regional Sears before they closed down the last one that was close to me, which was a Sears hometown. You can still get them off the Sears website. I'll put a link down in the description. I'll put a link to all of this stuff in the description. Some of them may be affiliate links, but things like Sears and stuff is definitely not. But anyway, cheap. It has a lot of little storage compartments that I can put things. I haven't even looked inside. I guess I should probably do that. Make sure it's going to work out. Yeah, and I think it is. Ordered this online with in-store pickup. Well, I'm closing it. Let's go ahead and start filling this up, and this will kind of give you a preview of the specialty tools that I use regularly when I'm working on a bike. First is nothing that I purchased, it's something I made. You've seen this if you watched my, I believe it was the aluminum comp, the 2020 version, where I put a new fork on it, and this is what I set the crown race on a fork with. You can watch that video to learn more, so I'll put that down in there. That cost me about, I think it was $3.50, less than $5. Bought all the parts at Home Depot. Some of the information there. Again, you can watch that video if you want to learn more on that. A pedal wrench, and my favorite is a park tool because it doesn't wear out like some of the cheaper ones, and trust me, I've had all the cheap ones, and I've used wrenches that I've ground down and some that I didn't and bound up on the crank arm. But this is the PW5. I think these are about 10 or 12 bucks. Picked this up at my local bike shop and put that in the top since I use that more often. My brake truing tool, or brake rotor truing tool, I use this to true brake rotors when they're warped. I use it quite a bit on big box bikes because they always come in a little wavy. Because I use this so often, I'm going to put that in the top as well. Look at that, it even fits down in there sideways perfectly. Not a specialty tool, and even a cheap one. This is a Pittsburgh Pro that I got from Harbor Freight, but this is an adjustable wrench, and I use that when I am removing a cassette or a freewheel, which I also have these two tools for. Now there are multiple size freewheels, but this is the most common. Again, I'll put a link down in the description to the one that I use, but I need an adjustable wrench for that. So I'm going to put that down in there, even though it's kind of a standard tool. And these two, because they're small, and I use them fairly frequently, I'm going to put them, let's see, yeah, just up in the top there. So those spots are already coming in handy. My handlebar cut down tool. And this I can clamp down into a vise and tighten it down and get a good clean cut on a handlebar, or I guess even a seat post. But I use it for handlebars. That's going to go down in there. My new cone wrenches, I have talked about these previously. They're cheap, and I wear them out after, I don't know, about 5 or 6 uses. Some of them will get worn out, so they're so cheap, I just keep buying the cheap ones rather than losing good ones. It's cone wrenches. Bottom bracket removal tool. I use this. This is an Omer's, and man, this has gotten use, and it's not even, you know, a fancy or expensive one. Even the local bike shop couldn't find theirs once. I went and got this. They used it with an impact wrench to get off a stuck bottom bracket. So I'm impressed with this. Definitely something I'll hang on to there, and because I use it regularly, it will also go up top. Part tool valve core removal tool. Use this whenever I'm converting anything to tubeless. Actually, I'm kind of cheating. This is a new one. I just took it out of the package because, like I said, I lose stuff. These are hard to hold on to, so that's something. I'll probably put this on the other side over here up top. Hopefully I won't lose it from there. A chain whip, another tool I use a lot, and this is a cheap one. I mean, I've used this dozens of times. Help with removing cassettes, and this came in a pack. It was part of this Omer's kit that also was where that bottom bracket removal tool that I put up in the top of the box here earlier. That came with this kit, and this is a crank arm extractor. It's part of the crank arm extractor, chain whip, and bottom bracket removal tool all together, but I'll put these down in there. And by the way, when I use this, I don't use this little wrench. It's kind of a softer metal. This part is great. The little wrench itself, I mean, you get a crank arm that's really stuck on there, and I screw this off, take this out, and then use my adjustable wrench that I put down in here earlier to help get this apart. So another reason for that adjustable wrench being down in my main bike specialty tool kit. A star nut setting tool. Get that star nut down into a new fork, which also doubles as the cap for my headset extractor. You've seen this in a video. Well, I've seen this as well, but I used this in the video, where the same one where I used my homemade race setter. Use this to knock out the lower cup, well, and the upper cup on that Schwinn aluminum comp, the 2020 Schwinn aluminum comp. Cheap, but I haven't had any problems with this other than having to expand it out before I use it each time. It tends to want to close up. But that also go there. And a chain breaker. Need a way to get those chains off the big box bikes when I go to upgrade them, and that's what I use this for. This is a park tool, one of my few park tools, because a lot of my stuff is cheaper because I'm probably more like you. I'm not a hardcore bike mechanic. I'm just a casual tinkerer. It just so happens that I go through so many bikes that I casual tinker a lot. I don't like those words, but I'm going to stick with it. A spoke tightener, and this is again a cheap one. I don't use the fancy stuff because I do not have the patience to tighten spokes or really true a wheel unless it's very, very simplistic. Take it down to the bike shop for that. But when I have a loose spoke, I can tighten it with my spoke tightener or do my attempt at vague and very easy wheel truing. And that's with this tool up in the top. Well, with that valve core tool, and I'm actually going to move this over to here. I believe an 8mm hex, and this goes with the chain whip and that other tool when you're removing a crank arm. A small torque wrench, or torque key I think this is even called. This is from Ritchie Logic. This came with that Cannondale carbon bike when I bought it. I got this, and this is what I use for stems and the bolts on handlebars, where the handlebar bolts onto the stem and the stem onto the fork steer, to make sure I don't over tighten anything. It's always a handy tool to have, which is why I have two. I actually have two because this came with that Siskiyou D7 from Polygon, and I accidentally didn't pack it up when I sent the bike back, and later emailed them. They were kind enough to say just to keep it. So I got a second one. Go ahead and put it in here so I don't lose it, because if I put it somewhere else, it's gone. My headset cup remover, and if you again watch that video on the aluminum comp, you'll know that this didn't work out all that well for the taper, but it does work well on a straight steerer or a straight head tube to get the cups out. So I'm going to hang on to it. And you also may remember that I tried to adapt it for the taper and just gave up. Took it down to the local bike shop, but for straight, this works out fine. And a miscellaneous tool that I've just picked up. This is one of the ones that comes with the IXF crank sets. So I just hang on to little things like that, because you never know when you're going to need them. Also a knife, very important when working on a bike. Never know when you're going to need to cut something, and that's where this Craftsman knife Picked this up at Lowe's as part of a set. Yeah, here's the other part. It's a regular blade knife. And I'll put both of these up top, because I use them for more than just bikes, so at least now I'll know where they are. A mini pick and hook set, critical to be able to get to loose and tight things in little small cavities. And this is, it looks new, but I've actually used this, I don't know, maybe a year. Throw that down in there. Harbor Freight product. I think that's like $2. You see a lot of Craftsman in the KevCentral bike barn. These are not Sears Craftsman though. This is new Lowe's Craftsman, and some that they did a really good job on. It's my mini plier set. I used the snippers most. Oh well, don't need that. Actual star nut from a fork. That star nut setter I mentioned earlier would work on that, but I use these little mini plier snippers more than anything out of this set, but also the needle nose every now and then. But this is a decent little set. Picked this up at Lowe's for, I want to say, got this for $12 on sale, something like that. So put that in there. And not really a specialty tool, but I'm always looking for a screwdriver. And I buy screwdrivers like a gold digger buys, well, anything. As a matter of fact, here in the bike barn, I found these 2 sets of extreme grips that I haven't even opened. And that's because Cobalt, another Lowe's product. This is a little Cobalt multi-driver, and I have fallen in love with this thing. It's got such a smooth ratcheting setup, and it comes with the multiple bits down in there, and I think that will work perfect inside this little toolbox, so I can't complain next time I'm looking for a screwdriver. I'll know exactly where one is. And even though I have a 450-piece Craftsman tool set in the bike barn, I might as well throw this Torx driver set down in here just in case. So like I said, I'm always looking for things. Case in point, this is a 3-part set. The metric is what I would need on bikes, but I can find the Torx and the standard, but I can't find the metric. So I've put it somewhere. So for now, I'll just throw those in there just as a have to have them in case I can't find them tools. Well, shouldn't be needing this, but keep it in here so at least I'll know where 2 of the 3 are. And I'm going to put this in there. This is my RockShox fork pump, because I have 2 of these and I usually lose one. So I'm going to put one in here, since I don't know if I would call this a tool. I'm going to put that in here so at least I always have one when I'm working on a bike, because I use a lot of air forks for upgrades. And that's going to do it for my specialty tool quick kit or quick toolbox. I'm sure I have more specialty tools somewhere, but these are the ones that come to mind and I could actually find. So for now, I'm going to set this down in here. Yeah, look, because that's so deep, I can put all that stuff in there and it seats perfectly. Still have plenty of room in both the bottom and the top. It should latch pretty secure. And I've got quick access to all this stuff. Let's see how heavy it is. Yeah, well, still usable and maneuverable. So there we go, my KevCentral specialty toolbox for specialty tools. Well, there's just one more thing that I think it could use, and that's a KevCentral sticker. I don't know, what do you think? Maybe right there? Or should I get a bigger KevCentral sticker and put it down lower, like a 3-inch sticker? I think that might look good. Peel this off. But I don't know, comment below and let me know which one you think would look the best. And also, when I first drug this out, if you thought, toolbox, that's more Kev Reviews style. Well, don't forget, or if you didn't know, I have a second channel, Kev Reviews. You can go subscribe to that. I'll put a link down in the description. And I'll have a similar toolbox that I'm going to be featuring on Kev Reviews, kind of as a follow-up to this one, +1 or -1 because it's smaller. But I'm tired of not only losing tools when I'm in my bike barn or wherever, bike tools I'm looking for, in my house. I'm always looking for a screwdriver or a wrench or a hammer. Well, I bought a little stubby hammer and all this stuff that I think is going to fit in this matching little toolbox, just one that's smaller. So be sure you subscribe to Kev Reviews so you can check this out and see what all I fill in it, because I have bought a lot of Craftsman tools. So don't forget to comment with sticker placement, where you think would be the best place for a sticker. And also, if you haven't already, I hope you subscribe if you're new here, and if you're already here and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And give this video a thumbs up if you found it informative. And again, don't forget Kev Reviews. Thanks to everyone for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you have a great day.